Alright, today's date is 12/17/2012. Targets of organized gang stalking are subjected to gang stalking at their apartment or home or motel room, or even if they're living in an RV. You can go to Google and type in how gang stalkers will rent apartments next to targets, how they'll get property owners and landlords on board, and how they'll even get postal employees on board in reference to delaying or stealing a target's mail, including rent. This is done to achieve the homelessness. And why is that done? So they can put them out on the street, literally out on the street, and then try and claim that they're mentally ill because they can't take care of themselves and won't get out of the homelessness, even though they're offered services, like a homeless shelter. The target then goes to a homeless shelter, is told a bunch of lies about how they'll get all these services. And why is that done? To get the target to sign papers. Once those papers are signed, they start the organized gang stalking at the homeless shelter, causing the target to want to leave because they believe they had more peace hiking. And then the continued expedition continues against the target as they're homeless. How the police will arrive at their hiking area and say, weren't you the one that we approached 2 months ago and offered you services? Didn't you go to the homeless shelter? Target says, yeah, I went to the homeless shelter and I was gang stalked there. Then the police say, well, what's gang stalking? You start explaining it to them. Then they make a police report that the target's crazy as a result of what they're complaining about. Because the whole goal is to go after a target's finances, to exploit their insurance, and exploit a target sexually in a syndicated run, state-operated and overseen group home. That's why they create the destitution to begin with. To put them on the street, initiate gang stalking against them, to get the target to open up about what's happening towards them so they can label them crazy on police reports and doctor reports, and then use this accumulated documentation over time to contain them in order to take over their finances, to exploit their insurance, and exploit a target sexually in a syndicated run group home. It's organized crime in a system, using these schemes and maneuvers to do it. Go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of organized gang stalking crews. He flat out states that even entire police departments have been taken over. Judges are mentioned, psychiatrists are mentioned, doctors are mentioned. And it also mentions about how the best place and the most favorite place for them to trap targets is in the court. Probate attorneys and probate judges that are syndicated on their chain. I strongly suggest you Google the next two items. How a Pennsylvania judge was sentenced to 28 years for sentencing first-time misdemeanor children to the full maximum sentence for federal kickbacks in reference to the federal funds that the detention center got per child. Then in a separate search, go to Google and type in how a woman kept 4 mentally disabled individuals locked in a basement for 10 full years to take over their Social Security checks. Same type of syndicate, same type of organized crime. It's organized crime in the system that's targeting people on disability, single women, single mothers. You would not believe what I know. If you Google and thoroughly meticulously research and cross-reference every description separately, and then cross-reference the material you come across, you'll flat out be able to see that I'm telling you the literal truth. Especially how property owners and landlords are involved in these schemes, and postal employees to steal your rent, and then police officers, and then, of course, corrupt county mental health. Thank you. Oh, this is in reference to organized gang stalking.